It's time now for County-Wide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Brad Miller as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives here in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's County-Wide.
Welcome to County-Wide. I'm Paul David. Good to have you in studio today. Wildlife biologist for the Prescott National Forest, Noel Fletcher, back with us in studio today. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me back.
I love having you back.
I love coming here.
Whenever you're here, we talk forest and wildlife, and that's what I'm all about. I just love those two things.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
And it shows.
Well, thank you.
We've talked numerous about the Dosey fire and the Yarnell Hill fire with several different people, but back when the Dosey fire was going on, I'd actually asked you at one point in time, how's the wildlife handling this fire? How's the forest doing with this fire? And you thanked me for that question, as if no one else had thought about that question yet. And I'm still curious as to how the forest is doing, because it burned thousands of acres.
About between 6,000 and 7,000 acres burned. And I've been working on this project since the fire really started winding down, because obviously we were focused on suppression. And once it started winding down, I said, I got to get some trail cameras in there, and I want to show people what's happening inside the closure area so they can see and they can understand just what goes on when a burned area recovers.
I think that's neat, because I don't think we've ever done that before. We've had numerous wildfires, but we've never actually seen photos of the before or the after. So I think it's really neat that you've come in with these pictures to show us that how things are recovering out there.
It is. I'm excited about it, and I think it's also part of helping people understand the dynamic of fire in the ecosystem, and that the healthy things that are going on, and to realize I understand the frustration of the closure and not being able to go inside. So my mission was to bring it out to folks and to go in, take pictures, and bring them out to people.
There's been some frustration, though? Because I would think, okay, that area is all burnt up. Why the heck would I even want to go in there to begin with?
Some people are attached to the area.
Okay.
First of all, it's their favorite place to hike. It's close to their home. It's convenient. They have more than just convenience. They've hiked it for years.
They feel some ownership there.
There are spiritual, emotional, physical attachments, especially to the wilderness, let alone just the Dosey area. But the wilderness in and of itself has a special connection for people, the solitude, the peacefulness, and I knew that there was a lot of attachment to it, and I wanted to bring it out to people so that we could let it heal without people coming in to see what was going on inside. What
kind of an area is the Dosey area that burned? Kind of describe it to me.
It's a mountain, and it's predominantly it's chaparral around the bottom. Okay. We've got mint wash, which is a riparian area on the east and north sides, and then when you get to the top, you're into the ponderosa pine, and there's also some pinyon juniper on the north slope of the mountain, and of course, on the south rock face is the peregrine nesting site.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Did that do all right?
I read a report yesterday that when they were in there in late July, they saw 3 peregrines flying around the cliff face.
Oh, great. That's good news, right?
That is good news. Right. It is. It's very good news. While I was concerned about the peregrines, that wasn't my primary concern, because obviously public safety and property were our primary concerns. And so right now our concerns are public safety and resource protection. And so that is why we've got the closure in place, especially to get us through this monsoon season, because what's happened up there is a lot of the vegetation is burned off, and the soil can be moved. But we were startled when we hiked in on August 1st. We were able to hike in, and there were some great, like the ground cover that was coming back was amazing to us, and we were startled by it, and the way that a lot of plants might have burned. There's a lot of prickly pear in there. And what was fun is I was with 2 young people that don't have the field experience, and I said, well, look at this and look at this, and then they weren't seeing things because they weren't used to looking for them. And once we started looking, they were
what kind of things?
What was really cool, there was even on the hike in, they were out ahead of me, and I was the the senior person bringing up the rear, not going as fast as the 20-year-old and 30-year-old.
Right.
And there was a horned lizard. And Ryan, there's 3 pictures on there of the horned lizard, and I stopped, and I'm like, check it out, there's a little horned lizard. And they came back and they couldn't see it. And they go, how did you see that? I go, well, the rock just ran across the toe of my boot, you know, and it was literally the size of a quarter. And you couldn't see it, and then you couldn't see it, and then Ryan, the guy that was with me, Tyler, got down, and he got this great close-up, and I'm like, you guys need to slow down and pay attention to the details.
Really look in there, huh?
Really pay attention.
Right.
So we're cruising along, and there was a great microsite where there was a prickly pear cactus had burned. And they're succulent, and you can imagine a fire takes all the heat out of them, takes all the moisture out of them. And underneath the prickly pear was a totally different plant seed coming up out of the soil, because the microsite provided by the prickly pear gave it shade, it kept it cooler, probably held a little bit of moisture, which was perfect for that seed to germinate, whether it was that plant or not. Yeah. But then the prickly pear cactus pads were sprouting themselves from what little bit might have been unburned, or from the base, or from a little seed in the soil around them. And so then the prickly pear started to sprout. And there were all kinds of things sprouting. There were cholla cactus, the cottonwoods were sprouting. There was one funky tree where in a ring, right around the base of the thing, everything just started coming up. And so, I mean, it took us forever to get in to put the trail camera up, because I'm like, oh, look at this, oh, look at this, stop, take a picture. And we were taking notes and just looking and seeing things.
What is microsite? You said microsite.
Well, it's exactly what it is. Micro meaning little, site meaning small. In other words, a lot of people look at a landscape and they see trees and brush and rocks. They see the big picture. I'm looking at the little picture. I'm looking at wow, look at that little plant coming up underneath that tiny little. Those little things are often unique habitat places, but that's also the kind of things we want to create. Sometimes when we're deliberately doing a management treatment, we might lop and scatter the slash in a fuels treat in a timber treatment to create microsites to keep the soil cooler, because then if we're going to burn, we want to have some slash on there instead of getting the soil too hot. And so microsite is exactly what it is, a small place. And I mean, I've got great pictures of grass sprouting where the whole clump is burned out, but there's green coming up out of it. And that's what I was looking for.
Are you seeing new stuff come up that wasn't there, that was not growing there before?
No, what I'm seeing is a plant that was burned, recovering.
Okay.
And the timing of the monsoons has been
So it's telling
great.
I'm okay, I'm okay.
That's the point. That's what we're seeing. The other thing that I have not been around on a lot of it, but I also am in communication with a lot of the other resource specialists, is I haven't heard about a lot of soil movement and things like that, which is a relief, because that was our objective. And with the amount of rain we've had recently, it's probably amazing. I think we had enough in the beginning to let the plants establish some ground cover to help alleviate some impacts from soil movement.
Because I know the monsoon kind of, it did go there at the beginning, but it wasn't like the Schultz burn in Flagstaff. It was just devastated
or
right
the Gladiator
after.
that washed out the whole road. And that was our concern. That was absolutely, because on the north side of the Dosey fire, there's a huge, it's called Big Bowl, and it is the north side. And it's literally a huge funnel down to those homes. Oh, wow. It was a huge concern for us.
And that's where we did the rehab. The Bear team did some rehab work. Okay.
And so what my objective was.
Bless you. Stay right there. No, stay right there, because we have to take a break.
Okay.
We're already there. Okay. Noel Fletcher, wildlife biologist for the Prescott National Forest, in studio today. I'm Paul David. Stick around. Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Having a fire escape plan is very important to keep your family safe and together in the event of a fire. When you awake to the sound of a smoke detector and smoke in your room, don't stand straight up. Carefully roll off your bed and stay low under the smoke. If your door is shut, feel the door with the back of your hand. Slowly open the door if no heat is felt. Always stay low until you get to the outside of your home. Always have 2 ways out of your house and a specified meeting place somewhere outside your home. Home escape plans should be drawn up and rehearsed on a regular basis. This could be the difference between life and death if caught in a fire.
Here in northern Arizona and throughout Yavapai County, people count on Orkin Pest Control. With over 100 years of combined experience, nobody knows how to protect your home or your business from harmful or annoying pests like the Orkin Man. To start service, contact your Northern Arizona Orkin Pest Control. In the Verde Valley, call 567-5100 or Orkin Pest Control in the Prescott area at 775-8772.
Move over, AZ. Arizona's move over law requires you to move over or slow down when you drive past any vehicle pulled over with flashing lights. Any vehicle means emergency responders, roadside assistance, law enforcement, highway crews, even stranded motorists. Ignore the law and you could pay a fine. Remember, every vehicle, every time. Move over, AZ.
Sponsored by ADOT in partnership with the Arizona Broadcasters Association and this station.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
Welcome back to Countywide. Noel Fletcher with the Prescott National Forest. She's the wildlife biologist in studio today. She has had some trail cameras set up in the Dosey burn area since the burn. And you've got some awesome pictures that you were showing today and just how life rejuvenates after a fire comes through and decimates.
Well, and you use the word
decimate. That's not even the word, is it?
I'm uncomfortable with it because it's a natural process.
Mm-hmm.
It's a natural disturbance process. And that's the paradigm that we're trying to shift, is that in some places and some conditions, that is the natural process.
I said it, and I knew you'd correct me.
Well, it isn't that I'm correcting you. It's interesting that this fire is in the footprint of a fire that happened in the 90s. So it's been 20 or 30 years, and we're a little bit sooner, but chaparral usually burns every 30, 40, 50 years, depending on the site. So it was normal. And how the fire behaved that day was not. The conditions under which it burned. And when you have natural fire conditions, it's normal. There was some unnatural behavior and unnatural effects, but the place that I started grilling my folks. I'm like, where can I put a trail camera up? Where can I put a trail? I want it on water because I know that's going to be the best place to get pictures. And this friend of mine said, oh, go put it at White Rock. And I said, it's not on the map or anything. And he says, well, the cool thing is about White Rock is you never would have seen it before the Dosey fire for all the vegetation. And so I came in from the wrong direction and I'm looking around, I'm like, I'm not seeing any White Rock here. And I get up on top of the hill and I turn as if I had come from the other direction and I went, I think I found White Rock.
Yeah, how
and
hard
it's
could
this
it be, huh?
beautiful white quartz outcrop in the middle of the granite that you never would have seen before the burn because of all the vegetation.
Crazy.
And so we went to White Rock Spring, and so the camera setting there is, it's a little dish of water with, it's got emergent vegetation, green vegetation, little like a watercress kind of on the surface, and it's in this little bowl. And that's where we set up our trail camera for the first, we put it up August 1st, and we went in on August 13th and took it down. I did learn a valuable lesson on camera placement.
Right.
You'll notice in all of these pictures there are some lovely native cattails that apparently it was very windy for the first 13 days that we had this up, because I sorted through 1,678 pictures, most of which were the cattails going back and forth.
Oh,
and then it's funny because sometimes I had to look really closely to see, and there was something that was, I literally looked at every picture, and there were a couple in here that you'll see that, oh, there is something in there, and it's like the little flash of an owl or something. So it was exciting. We put it up. We got little stuff like dragonflies coming by.
That was the start.
Yeah, we started with like a little dragonfly. You could barely see it. And then doves, lots of doves, which is great. You know, the morning doves coming in to feed.
Now, this is like day by day. You're seeing
this
more
took
and more.
Pictures every 30 seconds to a minute, depending on the movement. It's motion sensed. And so, you know, the first day we actually had a little buck come in and things like that, which is nice. It's kind of cool. And the very first night, we had a black bear come in, which was exciting.
Yeah.
And if you know, the picture of the camera setting of where the pond is, it is completely within the black. It is pitch black around it. It burned right over this pond. Yet we've got bears, and we have, you know, mule deer coming in. And the one bear even went for a swim, which was kind of cool, you know, and we got pictures of him in the water. And then it was so funny. One time, one of the pictures has these deer, and they're looking at this log floating in, and I think they're wondering what it is and if it's going to move. I don't know if there's like some primordial memory of something floating in the water coming out of them.
Right.
But we had a rabbit. We had a barn owl visit, and the barn owl visited on 2 nights that we got it, and then the second time it visited on August 11th, it literally came and swooped, and I'm thinking it took somebody out of the water like a frog or a toad and grabbed it, and so that was kind of cool that it came back. We had gray foxes. We had a lot of deer, mule deer, does, and what's really interesting, and this is in another set of pictures, is you don't see the animals drinking that much as eating the vegetation or going after the soil and things like that. We had a bear cub come in during the day.
That is amazing.
And that was a cool picture. And then on August 12th and 13th, this is kind of cool, there's 2 pictures, a fox and a coyote, and they're in almost the same place on the shore of the thing, and you could just see the difference in the size and the tail and the eye shine and things like that. And so it was exciting to do that. And so it was as much fun hiking in as it was getting the pictures off the trail camera, just for what we were seeing.
Have you ever done this before with the trail cameras?
I haven't, and I'm kicking myself.
Right. Because this is a great way to show, really, that fire does benefit the forest. It's really an interesting.
I have a whole nother show of a trail camera I put up over north of Dugas, up in the grassland, and I'm doing it for a project, an ecosystem project that we're doing, and we were expecting to see the pronghorn, and we were expecting to see the javelina. It was nice to see the mule deer. We did not expect to see the cow elk and her calf, all at the same water hole in the grassland, down in the desert, a cow elk and calf. So that's a whole nother show. But I want to remind people, about the safety. This closure is going to stay in place.
You know what? Should we take a break, and then we'll come back and have 3-4 minutes to talk about the safety issues out there?
Okay.
Let's do that. Noel Fletcher, wildlife biologist for the Prescott National Forest, is in studio today. I'm Paul David. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Having a fire escape plan is very important to keep your family safe and together in the event of a fire. When you awake to the sound of a smoke detector and smoke in your room, don't stand straight up. Carefully roll off your bed and stay low under the smoke. If your door is shut, feel the door with the back of your hand. Slowly open the door if no heat is felt. Always stay low until you get to the outside of your home. Always have 2 ways out of your house and a specified meeting place somewhere outside your home. Home escape plans should be drawn up and rehearsed on a regular basis. This could be the difference between life and death if caught in a fire.
Here in northern Arizona and throughout Yavapai County, people count on Orkin Pest Control. With over 100 years of combined experience, nobody knows how to protect your home or your business from harmful or annoying pests like the Orkin Man. To start service, contact your Northern Arizona Orkin Pest Control. In the Verde Valley, call 567-5100 or Orkin Pest Control in the Prescott area at 775-8772.
Move over, AZ. Arizona's move over law requires you to move over or slow down when you drive past any vehicle pulled over with flashing lights. Any vehicle means emergency responders, roadside assistance, law enforcement, highway crews, even stranded motorists. Ignore the law and you could pay a fine. Remember, every vehicle, every time. Move over, AZ.
Sponsored by ADA in partnership with the Arizona Broadcasters Association and this station.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
Welcome back to Countywide. We got a few minutes left in our program today. Noel, Fletcher, definitely want to talk about the safety issues in the closure area surrounding the Dosey fire. So let's hit on that real quick.
Our number one safety, our number one priority is public safety, and there were a lot of trees that got burned during the Dosey fire, and I noticed on my way in and out that you can tell that they've broken since the fire because on the inside it's white wood, and you can see there are several pictures of trees that have either fallen over or the branches have fallen over, and so that is part of the reason why the closure is still up, and I believe a news release will be coming out this week about how we're going to manage that for the next month or so, as far as what's going to stay closed and when we're going to revisit it, and when we'll be able to open certain things. But safety is number one, and that's why we've got those things. It was fun to go back in. I didn't get to go, but so I sent the folks that work for me in, and I said, now remember, your assignment is take pictures. And so, like, the prickly pear were in bloom when they went in 2 weeks later. And so they're beautiful big yellow blooms and things like that. And then the Indian paintbrush that had been a stalk here or there, there was a great, beautiful stand of Indian paintbrush.
That's amazing.
I know. It's just so pretty. I just love it. And more things. The willows were blooming and the cholla and everything. And the other fun part is you don't always see the critters. You know, we can see some tracks. We found some feathers on the ground. The first day we went in, we could only hear the canyon wren with a tee 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 tee, you know, and then we saw sapsuckers. And there's some places where the bark has been peeled off. You can see where burned bark has come off, and they're going after the bugs underneath the bark and things like that. And I was like, you know, we may not actually see the animals, but you can see all kinds of evidence of them being there. The second set of pictures that we had on the trail camera was cool because we had more black bear. First thing up was a big old black bear. We had more mule deer, but then I had two different species come in the second set. The cool one was the javelina. We had two different visits from javelina. One of the last visits, it's rolling in the mud and taking a mud bath, which is kind of fun, you know. I like javelina. I think they're cool. And then one of the last pictures is we had a raccoon, and that was kind of fun. You know, I know we were all hoping for the glory shot of the mountain lion or a bobcat or something like that, but I love seeing the everyday wildlife come in there and just use it. And I think we got less animal pictures the second time because there was so much moisture that there was a lot of water everywhere.
That's
and they didn't need to rely on this as much, you know. It was so much fun to see. We even have a bunch of pictures in the last folder of all the insects that are there. You know, the beetles and the spiders and the bees, and we've got all kinds of critters coming.
I guess the point is that it's coming back to life.
It is.
The fire helped it.
It did.
It was a healthy thing. It's coming back to life, but it's not safe for us to be in there. And really, we shouldn't be in there right now and give these guys, the animals and the plants and stuff, a chance to kind of
You know, it's a critical time. They're getting ready for winter. They're getting ready for to either hibernate, migrate. The young are going to get kicked to the curb, and I'm hoping, my objective is to put all these on a PowerPoint on the website so folks can go sit at their leisure, have a cup of coffee, and visit the Dosey.
Let us know when you do that.
I certainly will. I'm looking forward to it.
We are out of time. Wildlife biologist Noel Fletcher, so good to see you again. I love it when you come in.
Thank you.
That's today's Countywide. I'm Paul David, and we'll talk to you again next time.
This has been Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday as we tackle the hot topics and talk to the decision makers across Yavapai County. That's Countywide with Brad Miller and Paul David each Tuesday and Thursday on this Yavapai Broadcasting station.